evaluation conference process is to actually review the summative rubric scores. So once you've rated standards 1, 2, 3, and 4, the next step is to really pull it all together and rate the SLOs and get the final effectiveness rating. So if you go to the review summative rubric scores phase and click on the Attend Summative Evaluation Conference, it will actually open up all of the forms available to you during that process. So you'll see that you can actually go in one more time and make any changes to the Rate Professional Growth and Responsibilities phase. You can go in and review the reflection. You can review the educator observation form and rubric scores again. You can review the prep lesson evidence form for standard 1 again. I am going straight to the EE summative evaluation form. When I do that, it actually takes all of the evidence that I've already collected and pulls it in. There are only 2 places where the evaluator actually needs to fill in information. The very top where the date summative conference area is, so you can go in and choose the date that the conference has taken place, and you can also put in the time frame. So I'm going to put in 11:49. That's when I'm starting this conference, and I am going to anticipate that it will be done in less than an hour. And so I've gone in, filled in that information. The rest of the information actually gets carried over from the other forms. So this is the information from the planning and preparation rubric form. It will pull in all of those scores and will actually give me the average score for each of the different components. It will take all of those average component scores and give me an overall rating for standard 1. And then it will give me the effectiveness rating based on that. It does that for standards 1, standard 2 and 3 together, and that information is calculated as well. So I can see that in standard 2, their overall rating was 3.5, and that their effectiveness rating was highly effective. You can also see that in standard 3, their overall effectiveness rate, their overall rating was 2.42, and they were listed as developing. Standard 4 is calculated, and I get an overall effectiveness rating and score for that as well. There are 2 tabs in this form. The second tab is where I'm going to put in my score for SLO. So in SLO Objective 1, the educator met the standard, and then in SLO 2, they nearly met the standard. This information is actually calculated automatically as well as the overall effectiveness rating. So I'm going to click Save. And what happens is that information is calculated in that process. It takes a couple of seconds for the forms to calculate, and then I can actually click on the next phase, which is Summative Evaluation Conference. When I do that, it brings me all of those same forms again. I'm going to go to the Summative Evaluation form, and what will happen now on page 2 of the form is that it will calculate the overall growth rating and the overall professional practice rating and give me their overall score. So this educator is developing in terms of the matrix that we've set up for the process. I click Save. Once I click Save, it closes out the Summative Evaluation Conference. The first step is for the actual evaluator to accept the summative rating score. Once they accept the score, the educator can actually go in and say whether they accept or reject the score as well. So they're going to click on Accept Educator Effectiveness Rating, and it's just a timestamp to let them know that they've accepted it. An email will go out to the educator, and the evaluator saying that the score has been accepted or rejected, and that same email will be sent to the principal in the school as well. So essentially, what you have to do in this process is go in and review the summative rubric scores, calculate the SLO information, click Save, and then go into the summative evaluation conference phase so that the scores for all of the different rubrics and the SLO data matrix can be calculated and a final effectiveness rating can be viewed. The educator and the evaluator will always be able to go back in, clicking the pencil icon and clicking on the summative evaluation form to review any of the information in there. There will also be a report that can be printed out, and the educator can hold on to. All of that information will always be available to the educator and the evaluator and the administrator in the system. I'm going to click Save, and I'm all set with this phase.